Hello, welcome to True Hoop with me, Jarod, Hector, and Coach David Thorpe. How are you, sir?
Jarod, I'm good. I don't want to hijack the show for more than a second, but today my dad would have been 84. So I'm wearing his Citadel shirt.
Yeah.
My son texted me this morning. He said, I think about Papa every day, which really hit me right in my heart. Yeah, I miss my dad.
Folks, David sounds like a really gruff, tough, ornery, and he is in certain scenarios, but underneath, real softy, real touch the heartstrings kind of guy, and that's what makes David so good at what he does. Right, this is why his players love talking to him, and right because he connects with them empathetically, right, and understands
Thank you,
that.
Jarod.
Oh, no problem.
Thank
I'll
you.
be a hard
I
ass when I
appreciate
need
that.
to be, but
Yeah.
also,
Yeah,
you're a real human.
It's funny you say that though, because I posted some on Facebook yesterday. I posted a picture of my daughter. Maybe she's 3 or 4. I'm not sure. My beautiful, beautiful, beautiful wife is there next to her, and we're at a birthday party. And I wrote that we stopped doing birthday parties when they were like 5 or 6. Like my wife wanted to do them. Like, it's fucking just another day. Like, get on with it. We would have dinner, maybe do a cake and have like a few family friends over, but we didn't do that party shit except for their B'nai Mitzvah, which costs as much as all the other birthdays times 20 anyway. But yeah, I'm like, it's just a fucking day. We're not gonna do that shit. Yeah, I have my moments of gruffness.
This
for sure,
is it. This is where the gruffness comes out.
Yeah,
This shit.
Yeah, it's just another day. Like, get over it. And then someone said to me the other day, "Is like their daughter, my niece, her mom has told us that her daughter turned 20, and it's they really kids these days, Gerard. You don't know this, but it's a big deal. Birthdays. My son.
Yeah. I mean,
my daughter, her friends. I wasn't aware. Like it's who cares about a birthday? I don't ever remember celebrating any birthday other than when I was 13 as a Jewish guy. That's not this generation. Although again, and then I have players who would tell me they've got to fly here because it's so-and-so's birthday, and then they'll fly home the next day. I'm like, what are you guys doing? A different world, man. Different world.
That may be more of a generational gap than your gruffness. That's probably what that is.
For sure, it's what it is. Yeah, yeah. I have no. When I turned 19, I could drink legally. Yep. I walked to a little package store called Nell's in Gainesville from my dorm. It was my memory says it's a Thursday night. I could go back and look if I'm actually right, but my memory was the Thursday night. I walked to Nell's. I bought one Budweiser. There's no craft beer. I bought one Budweiser. They put me in a brown bag. Yeah. And then I walked back on campus and had my one beer. I was studying during the night. Didn't even think about my birthday. That's birthdays. But yeah, my dad would have been 84 today. So we had dinner with him, and both my kids were in town. Amazingly enough, 3 years ago, they were sophomores in college, and my wife and my mom. We went to a place right near here, really a place we still go to a lot with my wife and I. And there's a picture of my dad and I. We each have a beer on the table. I'm sure I made him a drink beforehand, but they used to come to my house first. That was our last birthday together. He got sick in October of that year and was gone in January. So anyway, I don't mean to be sad. I'm happy. We had him for a long time. And he'd be proud of his kids and his grandkids. And
no doubt.
He wouldn't have cared one fuck about the NBA playoffs, by the way, other than he'd like to know, how my guys are doing and what's interesting. But
was he not an NBA fan?
He was a Jerry West fan. He was a Pete Maravich fan who actually lived here a lot. No, he was college football, pro football, and a little college basketball. He was college basketball when my guys started making it to college. He loved the Buccaneers and he loved the Gators.
That's where your memories, a lot of your memories of him from childhood was going to Buccaneers games with your dad.
Yeah. I went to too many of them, and so the draft is going on. I know you know this. I guess you or Henry was saying the NBA draft ratings also very good.
Yeah, I mean, well, and Henry went into some issues about why that would be. My point was that, NFL draft, and it was Thursday night in round 1.
Yeah,
I was like, I bet that'll crush every NBA playoff game.
Do we know if it did?
I haven't seen the numbers yet, but I would bet. I mean, I'm not a bettor, but I would imagine it did.
I would too. And meanwhile, to me, it's just so stupid. I didn't watch 1 second of it. I mean, I did. I had it on one of my other screens when the playoffs were going on, but I just kept wondering, like half these guys aren't going to be any good. It's like celebrating the recruiting. I mean, some of them will be good, but meanwhile, playoffs have been interesting. We've got
very interesting,
not always great games, some great games, but great playing.
Mm-hmm. Great playing.
A lot of talent. We have a lot of talent in the league.
A lot of storylines, a lot of intrigue. we often talk about, generational and how players, it changes over time, right? Like it used to be the Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain era. Then it was, guys in the 70s. Then it was Kareem era, right? Then it was Magic. Right? Father Time undefeated, all the stories. It just, it happens. You just move on, you move on, you move on, you move on. And it makes me think of like, the idea in sports that when the young generation wants to take over, it's never a peaceful transfer of power, David, right? Like, because the old guys who have it, they want to keep it, right? So you have to wrestle it and take it from them. And one young player who is showing out this postseason at only 22 years old is Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And it's funny, David, because you talked about the draft just now, the NFL, but the NBA too, it's all the same. And we talk about this all the time, and this is what you do for a living. Predicting the future is hard. We don't know who's going to. We can say this player has X amount of talent, and if things go right, they can be really good. But a million scenarios can happen. And I remember you were a fan of Anthony's talent, but you were like, I don't know. Like, is he going to be serious enough?
I wrote an article. Listen, he's so young that we already had True Hoop formed.
Yes,
the new company True Hoop, and I wrote about him. And I thought he was a D Wade level talent, who's one of my all time favorite players, and I don't know, top 3, top 4 shooting guard ever, whatever. I didn't know if he'd make it. He didn't show this at Georgia. He was a goofball at Georgia. He didn't play efficient basketball. I am happy to tell you that I didn't predict he'd be a failure. I just had questions. He's my favorite player in the league. And that, I wouldn't have said that an hour ago till I saw the link you put in there. Now he's my favorite player in the league. I loved him already. Yes. But his interview with Cat, where he just so maturely posits the idea that he's our best offensive player. This is Anthony Edwards talking. Cat is our best offensive player. So basically, quit fucking fouling. We need you in the game. But he wasn't trying to be funny. No. He wasn't trying to be cute or adorable.
No.
This was a man in full at the age of 22 telling the press in front of him I think that was after the closeout game, right?
Yep.
Saying this guy is more valuable to us than any of you realize. He's our best offensive player, and we can't have him foul. And he was just going through it in such a sober way. I just said, "Oh my God, he's my favorite player." I fucking love that. And the idea that anyone's better than him on offense. And by the way, he's probably right. I haven't looked at the advanced metrics.
Right.
Cat's a joke on offense.
Yes,
but so is Edwards.
Correct. David, it is a maturity level that he's found this year. And when we talked about this series, we thought it would go long. We thought the Suns had a chance based on how they were playing at the end of the season, how they beat the Wolves 3 times in a row. And one of our concerns was, while Edwards had made a leap this year, we were still wondering, when it comes to the crucible of the playoffs, will he revert to hero iso ball? When he gets shown a wall, will he make bad decisions and force shots? David, I didn't chart every shot he took. If he took more than 3 bad shots, I'd be shocked. All series. Like, I just thought he was, even when he didn't score well,
amazing.
He was just smart. Oh, let me just get off the ball, move, cut to the rim. I'm 22 and I have springs on my legs. I'll just fly by everybody because I'm so much faster and go to the rim for a dunk or a layup or go to the free throw line. And that, David, to me, suggests someone who understands and recognizes a different level of the game. Not the mastery yet, but at a different level of where he was.
I agree. So my son right now is in Boca Raton working with a super talented NBA prospect. It's a long story as to why he's there, but he's there. And he was watching the game last night. And he asked me if I could send him a play Edwards made in transition where he didn't even score. He got fouled because the player he's got has like a 43-inch vertical. He's not Anthony Edwards, but guy's a really dynamic offensive player. Offensive talent and athletic talent. Max saw A do something that he wants to teach this kid, this young guy. And so I did. I watched it, and he's like the ability. Oh, I put it in our virtual library. If you'll see it. Yeah. Yep. It's the A, that crossover he makes swing full speed. He's super skilled. This is not just a guy that's talented as an athlete. He's super skilled.
And he's a plus athlete.
Oh, yeah. I mean, plus.
Right.
Yeah. He's the specimen. He's the elite athlete in every way, knows how to utilize it. He's learned how to play, which is a big question I had at Georgia. He learned how to play. He's physical. And like you just said, he plays for us Not for me. And I'll contrast him. Just something, and I'm going to write about this week, among many things. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Pacers. I know they're up 3-1, but they act like they're at a kid's birthday party. And they're going to get slapped in the face. If they get by Milwaukee, which is a big if. Right. I don't know who's coming back for game 5, although I would not be surprised if neither guy comes back. If I was running the Bucks, I wouldn't let Giannis or Dame play. I agree. Unless I felt super good that they're not going to be re-injured, because you could fuck next year too, and you're down 3-1. But if they have to play this Knicks team or a Philly team that's now come back from 3-1,
they're gonna lose.
And these Pacers are out there acting like it's a kid's birthday party. Where's the clown? And who's blowing up the helium balloons? They're gonna get literally smacked. Now they got a couple guys that are playing the right way, but the other guys they think it's all puppy dogs and ice cream. And the AE has learned.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
This is the process normally you go through. Is you get thumped. And then you get thumped again, and then you kind of figure it out that to be in that moment, to be able to play emotionally focused, physically focused, under control, hard to do. Yes. Bobby Portis couldn't do it, and he's got playoff experience.
He's a veteran. Well, A said it in his post game interview. He's like, this is my third year in the playoffs, and I got beat in the first round every time. I hadn't won a playoff series. And you think, like, the way he was talking about it, David, he sounded like someone who was going to start getting stick for it. Because 22, you're only in year 3. So he
could be a college senior right now.
That's to be expected. But to have that level of maturity to be like, no. And he changed so many things. I mean, he even talked about, like, diet-wise, he changed stuff. I mean, again, it often takes some guys much later than 22 to kind of get that learning and that maturity together. He's picked it up. So highly, highly impressed with what Anthony Edwards has done as a player and what the Wolves did. And, you mentioned that he's your favorite player in the league right now. He's also Kevin Durant's favorite player in the league, who said in his post-game press conference, because Ant actually, and everyone knows this, who knows Ant, KD's Ant's favorite player of all time. And so, KD never liked when players say that about him. He's like, he likes a lot of people. But no, he loves Durant. Like, that's his favorite player. And so he said in Durant in his post-game, he's like, his commitment and the way he works on his game. And, Durant's a basketball junkie. So anybody that loves to come to the gym and works, he loves guys like that. And he's like, I'm going to watch Ant all playoffs. He's my favorite follower in the league. Like, this is my guy. Like, they're excited to play with each other on Team USA this summer. Like, and Ant goes, yeah. And I can't wait to get there and be like, hey, K, I sent you home, remember? And like, start talking shit. Yeah.
I love that guy. Yeah. Man. I love that. I mean, I know you guys have told me about his personality and everything.
He is David, he is what this league needs in terms of charisma and someone who, again, this is not a knock on Jokic, right? Jokic doesn't love doing that stuff, although some of the Hotel.com commercials he does, pretty funny. Ant will happily do this stuff and like be megawatt smile and light up a room. He's just so off the cuff and natural. He will be a superstar if the league just is smart and markets him up.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just getting started. I 22 years old.
Is he?
This is why I'm gonna hijack this conversation for a minute and get back to it, and you'll see where I'm going. I was asked recently by someone, where do I think James Harden should go? So I said, well, I'm not going to make the decision for James.
You mean this summer?
Let's talk about who should want him. And I don't know if I said this on the call today.
I think you did.
My answer was the Spurs. Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, because I want Wemby to be in the playoffs right away and get thumped. Like, James won't like it, and maybe they'll win. I mean, James has enough experience for a lot of people. I want the Spurs to get Wemby and Devin Vassell in the fucking playoffs, man.
Yeah.
And let them lose and learn and get better and form a stronger bond and commitment to basketball and winning and everything, because that's exactly what's really served Edwards well. Really served him well. And I was thinking all the Gobert hate out there when I was watching the fourth quarter this morning on Synergy. Like, he is just not fun to score on inside Gobert. Nope. He's not fun to score on.
Nope.
And that's a big, big, big part of why Minnesota is moving on in 4 straight games. Edwards on one end, Cat was great yesterday.
Yep.
But Rudy's just, the idea that he's, whoever is saying he's not a good defensive player in the postseason just has no idea what they're talking about.
We had our show where you basically like, no, people are all wrong. That's not exactly what it is at all.
Right.
I was going to ask you, so you said plus athlete for Anthony Edwards. Is he a better athlete than peak Russell Westbrook?
Nope.
Okay.
No, but it's such a great question.
You think Russ? You think Russ the best in recent memory? Like
I do.
Yeah,
I do. How tall is Edwards listed? Russ is what, 6'3", 6'4"?
Russ is like 6'4". I think he's like. I think they list him as 6'4" as well. I don't know if he's that tall. That's what they list him as.
I think I showed you that picture of him.
6'4".
Yeah, I showed you the picture of him next to Adrian Peterson. He looks like 6'1" to me.
Yeah,
but I mean, I answered so quickly. I think if we looked at the offensive, like there's stats you can track, dunks, offensive rebounds. It doesn't always work because systems are different. But I remember getting this argument about Derrick Rose and Russell, and I said it's not close. And then you looked at the numbers, and it wasn't close. I mean, and Derrick Rose was amazing.
Amazing.
I think AE might have Derrick. It might be just be a little bit below what Russ, but maybe I'm wrong. It's not a landslide.
No,
it's much closer than it was Russell versus Derrick Rose.
And Edwards is far more skilled than Russ.
Way better shooter, first of all. Way better shooter.
Yeah.
This is a lot.
Yeah, this is a young man who, kudos to Minnesota Timberwolves. We should bear mentioning that Wolves head coach Chris Finch got run into by his player towards the end of the game. He has a patella tendon tear, which is, I mean, Chris Finch is not a young guy, right? He's an older man, so that's going to be. Well, listen, if you tore your patella tendon right now, life wouldn't be so great.
If I got run into by a player,
right, body
parts would fall. Body parts would fall off for sure. Yeah.
Just so he might be in a chair, like off to the side somewhere for a bit, like coaching from like the second row.
We've seen that maybe in the NCAA tournament. I think it was Georgia State's coach. He had his leg up on one of those little scooters.
Got to be careful though, because those guys run around and dive into the corner. So you got to put him away from where he can get hit. Anyway,
put him in that Game of Thrones chair.
in the Iron Throne, exactly. Well, the good news is that they have at least a week, even with whatever happens with the Thunder Pelicans. That second round series won't start till Saturday, Sunday, so they'll have time to get something situated for him.
It's already set.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Sunday. I'll look again, but I'm pretty sure it'll start on Sunday.
The Thunder can clinch Tuesday, and they won't play next round on Sunday.
No, the Thunder can clinch tonight. They play tonight. They're up 3-0.
I meant they'd be free as of Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Because they play tonight. And they won't play till Sunday. Interesting.
Yeah. So, we'll have plenty of time to figure out. Maybe Saturday, but for sure not before the weekend. The weekend's here. Let's move to the Sun side of things. A disappointing showing by them for sure. Let's first start with Bradley Beal, who he was someone we looked at, David, who was surging at the end of the regular season. We were like, great. Ooh, this will be good. I mean, 4 duds of a game, and then last night was the duddest of the duds from Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I said to you guys on our call this morning, I thought I could win a jury case accusing you of grifting on purpose, and I don't mean to say that casually. I actually love Bradley Beal. He went to my alma mater, and
yes, he did.
I know people who know him who just love him and what he's done for them, like AU guys. I felt bad for him last night. He looked like he felt bad. He was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Terrible turnovers. The last one being where he threw it to KD and KD wasn't looking. KD should have been looking, but Bradley was being pressured. You just have to pay attention who you're throwing it to. He's just bad. And I feel for Book, 49. Like, Book's got to get out of there.
Well, here's the challenge now with Phoenix, right? Because if you're Matt Ishbia, of the 3 of them, Book's the person you want to keep because he's 27.
Course.
Right? Like, first of all, Bradley Beal's got 3 years left at 50, 56, and like 50, something ridiculous, and a no trade clause. So good luck moving that. Kevin Durant's 35, going to be 36 starting of September. He's only got 2 years left, but still, or 2, yeah, I think 2. But still, this is the problem. We talked about this, right? When owners come in and they want to make those home runs swing for the fences with older players, and not just that. When you do that and you trade away all of your draft capital on top of that. I mean, we read that article. I read the quote from it a couple of years ago on the show, David, where James Jones said, well, who cares about picks? We have to, picks have to turn into somebody. I'd rather get someone who I know is a known commodity. It's like, I bet you care about picks now, right? Because you have none. You literally they don't have none, actually, but they basically have none because with the way that the rules are and with you can't trade back-to-back first-round picks, they've traded every other year and swaps in between. So every other team, which is the Nets and the Wizards, basically control their draft for the next 6-7 years. That's not a good thing. So you can't even find young talent cheap who can help you, right, to develop and make you good. And you won't do that now because you've got an old team who, is trying to compete. So I think, look, because Beal, I mean, it only takes one, right? It only takes one dumb team. So and we always talk about how teams aren't smart. There probably is one team out there you can maybe trick into taking Bradley Beal. The likelihood, though, is if you want to be good with Book, you have to figure out where to move KD to. And that's a challenge, right? Because again, you have to match salaries and it's just complicated. And Phoenix, this is the gamble when you go in for win now. And, there's the light at the end of the tunnel seems very, very far away if you're a Phoenix Suns fan.
If I was the Phoenix Suns, an agent asked me this yesterday, I would send Beal home till January, in theory. I mean, he can practice, whatever. Right. But I'd want to save him as much as possible, but also get playing time for other guys. I would canvass every two-way player that you think's got a chance to help and contact that person's agent and say, how can we sign this guy off? He's a two-way somewhere else. So they have the first right. How do we acquire him? Because they'll be really cheap. And two-way, the best 24-year-olds you could find because they're cheap. You can play them, go through the G League and find veteran players that look like they can really play and just haven't gotten lucky. Mm-hmm. And then play those guys a ton. Sprinkling KD here and there. Tell Book, you got to give me a few months here. We're going to play these other guys more because we need someone that knows how to play with you. Mm-hmm. So we're going to take it easy till about the new year. And just for this first year, we're just going to throw a bunch of guys out there and let them just figure stuff out and suck at it and get better. Because there's no elasticity for this team. They are who they are because they have no young guys they can build on.
Someone was texting me during the game, and they're like, "Do you think this is before it started? Do you think the Suns go 1-2-3 Cancun tonight?" I was like, "Yes." They were like, "Why? Give me short." I go, "Wolves, bigger, younger, faster, and more athletic." And there's no, to your point about, and when you are bigger, younger, faster, more athletic, you have that word you just said, elasticity. Suns have none. Like, they are who they are, and there's no, you can't change, right? And we'll talk about this when it comes to the Knicks and later. I love that idea you had, though, because the reality is, folks, they're a second apron team, so they can't sign anyone.
No, they're really limited. Anyone. Really limited a lot of their options, so you got to find the cheapest guys possible. And don't take the cheap guys that are 29.
No, get those 21-year-olds in the G League.
Find some steals and see if you can't develop them. And you got to have to work, man. It's going to be hard.
Play Nas Little. Just play play those dudes. Because that, to me, is a scenario. All right. I want to get to the Kevin Durant of it all. You were very harsh on McCall this morning, David. And I didn't think he was bad in the game yesterday at all. I mean, they were.
No, he was fine.
33. I mean, here's what I thought. I thought he played basically the whole third and fourth quarter. That was a man that had no energy and no gas. That's what it looked like to me. Like
that's not his fault.
He's just. I mean, they had to play in third and fourth quarter because there's nobody else to play, right? So this is what happens. But
that's what they say. That's what they said. Was it Embiid never coming out the whole second half,
which we agree is not smart.
Play him. Well, that's on management's fault. You got to give the coach an option to give these guys some rest. They're just. They don't have it. Yeah. And I wasn't being hard. He's my George Gervin. Remember, when he was in college, I was ESPN. I wrote.
That's right.
He's a more athletic George Gervin, who I loved and feared as a Laker fan. I didn't like the Iceman. But I had the Iceman poster on my wall, baby.
He can finger roll. The Iceman. I've met him a few times. He's a very nice man. Very, very nice man.
Do you know what poster I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one where he's sitting on the ice throne with the of course.
The silver tracksuit. Come on now. I had Moses' poster, which was Moses with a cane. Not the cane. What was it? A staff.
Yeah.
With the robe.
Yep.
I had Paul Westphal. Yeah, I had Paul Westphal. I had Trapuka. But I had a few others too. And then in college, I'm not going to go into details, but I was taking the covers of Sports Illustrated, just basketball, and putting on my wall. That was I couldn't afford posters. So I basically stole magazine covers. I love the Iceman. So to me, KD was that guy, just more athletic and better shooter. My thing is, it's unfair for me to question his commitment to winning when you're tired, to be very fair. He's connected to a lot of losing playoff series. I don't know why he left Golden State. There's a whole separate thing. But he's not the answer. If you think, oh, we got KD, we're going to win some playoffs. Well, no. He's just not. He's not LeBron.
No. Definitely not LeBron. I think, for me, this is a clear changing of the guard, right? That's happened. And if we're honest, right? If we're all honest, the LeBron, KD, Steph, Kawhi era has kind of been over for a little while now. I think we all got fooled by that lightning in a bottle title by Curry a couple years ago. But as we've said on the show, that was more of the Celtics just running out of gas and not being what they should have been, right? Like, I think those guys, and it's not taking away from those guys, great. But at this stage of your life, you're not going to beat 22-year-olds like Anthony Edwards who can jump out the gym. You just can't. You physically cannot. You're not able. And so I think you're right. It's now moving into what is this next phase of their careers, right? Because they want to still keep playing basketball. But the problem is how these contracts are set up in the NBA is that they pay you the most money when you are not as good as you once were, right? And so whatever team that has you, you're fucked because I'm paying for you this is the money you should have been making when you were 28, not when you're 38. But here we are. And so, listen, those guys shouldn't give back money. I'm not telling them to do that. Nope. But if you are a team that has them, unless you are surrounded by literally teens and thoroughbreds who can sprint and run and jump, you're fucked because those old guys just can't do it. And we're seeing that. I mean, look, Steph didn't even make the playoffs. So there's that, right? LeBron's down 3-1. Kudos for winning game 4, but probably going to lose game 5. It's hard. It's hard.
Right. Curry's out. LeBron may be out with AD tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
That group is Jimmy Butler's going to be out soon.
Yep.
Giannis may be out tomorrow.
He's younger than them.
He's younger, and obviously they really be Dame.
Yeah.
Dame will be.
Dame's out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as an older guy. And I don't know. I doubt he'll play. Yeah, but meanwhile, we just talked about how much we love AE. There's lots to look forward to. Celtics are rolling again. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be fine.
I think so too.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to still. Brunson and the Knicks, obviously. It's we'll see who the next great players are. We're seeing now.
We are. And again, so kudos to the old heads, but good night, fellas. Your time has come and gone. We love what you did. We love watching you play. It's time for the young guns now to take this league to the next heights. And by the way, Wemby, on our call this morning, our editor Travis said after we were singing Anthony Edwards' praises, David, do you want to rethink your opinion about who could be the? You're like, nope, still Wemby.
What do you think?
I agree. Well, and you know why I'm going to agree? Well, because size still matters. 7'4". So as good as AE is, and he is elite. David, he's going to be. I mean, this is not fucking out on a limb. I think he'll be a perennial MVP candidate very soon. I see that. So that's not going out on a limb. But 7'4", the rim is still 10 feet above the air. That matters. Right? So he's going to have advantages that AE just can't because he's just so much taller. But anyway, moving aside. Pacers, they have pushed those aforementioned Bucks to the brink, 3-1. And so David mentioned, you guys were listening, the Pacers, some of the Pacers players look like they're at a little kid's birthday party. And it's funny, I'm watching the game, and this is how long I've been working with David. I know I'm like, every time they cut to the Pacers on the bench, I'm like, David's hating this shit. And I wanted to text you and be like, what do you think about what the Pacers are doing? But I knew what your answer would be. Fucking stop doing that stupid shit. They're doing the goggle eyes and all the, and listen, David's a little bit more stringent about that than I am, and I understand why, right? Manage your emotions. Playoffs are too up and down. Just steady. To me, it's a game, so it's hilarious. I love it because it looks funny, and it's the crowd's all whooping it up and getting all into it. But, the reckoning comes, right? When you're down 15 or whatever, what you going to be doing then, right? So I get it. I totally get it. So the Pacers need to be serious. So to David's point, this next game is going to be the hardest game, regardless of who's in or not. Because let's be honest, in that game last night, without Bobby Portis, without Giannis, without Dame, the Bucks got it to within 6 at 1.5.
They were around that for all the game.
They were and the Pacers could have easily missed 2 threes and they come back down Middleton, and it's Ty, how you responding to it now? And Halliburton, who, while he hit threes, wasn't great again. We know he's still injured. There's still problems going on. I think I agree. But Andrew Nembhard and Miles Turner were fantastic last night, David. Andrew especially, 18 assists and 2 turnovers, I think, in this series. Are those his numbers?
I don't remember. 19 and 1 or 2 now.
Something like that.
I saw a tweet about it. Miles Turner was terrific. He's finished the season well, shooting the three really well. Got great form. Gets it nice and high. For a tall guy to be with, that's tough. Made a couple plays defensively. They needed that. The Pacers, they're being fooled into thinking this is a state fair and it's a street fight. The playoffs are a street fight, and just because Milwaukee is toothless right now, playing their ass off. Brook Lopez was unbelievable.
He was,
last night. And so was Middleton. I love those guys, but they just don't have much. And the Pacers are loaded. They're just young, but they're loaded. Obi Toppin was great.
Yeah,
flying around everywhere.
Talk about springy. Shoot. Yeah.
He's the only. I heard this yesterday. He's the only Pacer in league history, in Pacers history, to have 100 dunks and 100 threes in the same season. Like that's pretty crazy. Good talent.
That's
to have.
Insane. That's
insane. I really like him. He brings a lot of energy. The bench antics don't bother me much in the moment. My concern is the guys that are actually playing getting a little silly during the game.
Right.
And as I said, I talked to someone this morning about it. Maybe I said it to you guys too. I definitely said it to you guys. Brunson's got 47 and he's scowling.
Yeah.
I prefer scowling. Yeah.
See, folks, I started the show saying David's gruff, but like underneath, this is the gruff side, right? Like it's.
I just know that. We've all seen James Bond movies or any other movie where the bad guy has the good guy on the ropes and relaxes.
Yep. Let's just put off the gas.
Right.
You got to go for the kill, man.
You got to just literally just cut James Bond's throat. Don't do an elaborate scheme. He's got to get out of it.
Just end it. Just end it now.
Right. I think this all the time. Just shoot Captain America in the ankle, please. Right? Stop going for the headshots. He's got a shield. Just shoot him in the leg. Right? And then just leave him for dead, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I don't understand. It really bothers me, these things. It's like, how do you not just take Thanos' head off right away?
Well, we'd have movies. We need 85 movies. That's why.
Right. So I do, as someone who coaches, I just know it's harder to get dialed in with the disposition that's required to win these games when you're really kind of, oh, wow, happy birthday. No, you need to be ready to be punched in the mouth again because you're going to get punched in the mouth. And Rick Carlisle said after the last game, he said the postseason's insanity, and I really like that. We'll get to the Clippers again in a minute. The Paul George 3, that's insanity, right?
Insane.
In golf, you're taught to always expect your opponent to make every putt, and because why do you teach that? Because if you don't. And you're just assuming he's not going to make it, and then he makes the circus putt.
You're fucked on your putt.
You're fucked. Yeah, you're not going to handle it. And so I feel that way when I coach all the time, is I expect them to make every shot. I used to say one time, I hope he misses one time, then I stop. Because that's all they're going to miss is maybe one time. No, I want every time to miss. But I assume they're going to make it. There's just an edge about you. And I was texting with a very veteran player last night after a game, and all he wrote back was something like, next game's going to be so hard.
Yeah.
That dude gets it. Yep. There's nothing harder. And there's nothing harder than a closeout game.
For sure. The hardest game.
Anyone that's coached in any tournaments like I have all my life, the last one it's just hard. Milwaukee's dangerous because all these guys are out. I thought they were dangerous yesterday. The Pacers bothered me with their strategy, but I knew their strategy was smart. They were playing the long game. Yeah. We're going to wear you guys down. You can't keep making twos. We're going to keep making threes because we're wide open everywhere. They got whatever they wanted on offense. And eventually Milwaukee ran out of gas and it was over fast.
Yep.
It was over quickly. Yeah. 2 games in a row, Indiana ended the game quickly.
Yeah.
Because they're so much more talented. We talk about Celtics don't have much of a bench. The Nuggets don't have much of a bench. Pacers got themselves a bench.
They do.
They really do. And nevertheless, if they get by this series and the Knicks get by this series, a lot of people think Indiana. Charles Barkley said Indiana's going to be the favorites in the East. Other than be favorites to play Boston, other than Boston.
I don't know about that.
I don't see that.
I agree.
I love Indiana's talent. I like the Knicks' hustle and moxie and toughness.
Yep.
I think Nembhard versus Brunson's great. He's very different than having to guard Dame, he's done much better on Dame than people realize. but I think they're going to feel pain.
Yeah.
You're supposed to feel pain. If Giannis plays, they probably would have felt it. He's not. And I'm not sure he gets back.
Well, this is good for the Pacers, right? Because they're young. And we said at the beginning of the season, it would be nice for them to get into the playoffs. And right, Pascal's been a champion, so not him. And Miles had playoff early, but not in a while.
Yeah.
Everybody else needs playoff experience. So this is good. That game 5 in Milwaukee, that environment's going to be loud. And I want to see how they respond. Like when they get down, I think the Bucks will come out and give them their best shot early. When you get down 10, how are you going to respond? Are you going to get wobbly? Oh, we got game 6 back at home. That's not the attitude I have, right? Like, because then anything happens in that, and then you get to game 7, forget it, right? All bets are off. So I think Indiana, this is part of the growing pains that every young team has to go through when they want to get good and learn how to win the playoffs. And to your point, the disposition to dominate and take every possession seriously. The Knicks have that, right? The Pacers right now, a little too fun, loosey-goosey. I don't know if you saw this at halftime of that game against the Bucks of game 4. Halliburton was either yelling at a ref or maybe an opposing player. And Rick's just like, stop. Just get in the locker room.
Referee.
Like, it was referee. Okay. And I like that, right? It's like, forget it. It's over. We're up at the half. Forget that. Locker room, focus on the next thing at hand, right? And I think young kids, very hard for them to kind of wrap their brains around. They get very emotional, highs and lows.
It's like I've never tried to herd cats. I don't like cats.
Very hard.
It's the same thing as my wife is, teaching kindergartners, and they go to field trips every couple of weeks. And
nightmare.
She literally was reliving one of those nightmares to me. Like, stop doing this nonstop. And I would have no patience for it, but she has a lot of patience. But it's not fun. And so Rick's got to deal with that. Meanwhile, Rick hasn't won a series himself since they won the championship in like 2011 against Miami. So it's be good for him to get one, but it won't be easy.
What we're proving is it's hard. We keep telling you people, it's hard to win in the playoffs. Like, it's hard to win in the league, period. It's hard to win in the postseason. You have to be really good, and you have to execute. And, you're seeing that. All right, guys, we'll be back after a brief commercial break. David, and maybe the game of the day yesterday. Yeah, probably the game of the day yesterday. Clippers.
Oh, Philly. Oh, Clippers.
So yeah, go Clippers first. Clippers, Mavericks. Man, it did not look like the game of the day. The Clippers came out firing. They got up 31, maybe a little more than
31.
That. And I was like, oh, this is. And then
early 31.
Early, they were up 31. But Dallas they didn't fold. Kept coming down, shooting, making shots, shooting, playing defense. They got it to 18, maybe, at halftime, if I'm not mistaken. And then Dallas actually took the lead in this game in the fourth quarter. They went up 2. And I was like,
no, they went more than that. They went up 4 or 5 one time.
And I was like, is this going to be the Clippers, the Clipperiest Clippers thing ever to lose a 31-point lead in a playoff game in Clippers. But we saw down the stretch in that game, David, elite shot making from Kyrie, James Harden, Paul George, Luka. I was just like, what are you guys doing? And it's that thing. And I know I generally, with you announcers, we like turn the sound off, but there is something that is true that I believe in all the years I'm watching basketball. And that is, I don't care how great a defense you play. Sometimes players are just going to hit a shot anyway. So great offense beats, they just will. And those guys, who are some of the best tough shot makers they are, what are you going to do? All right, like, great. Shake his hand. Congratulations. Like, I can't, unless I foul you, which, by the way, Thorpe's rule number 1, don't fucking foul. There's no other way I can stop you. So apparently
it's Anthony Edwards' rule too.
Yes, he said, stop fucking fouling, cat.
Copied me, son of a bitch.
Well, before we get, I want to actually ask you about that, because I texted you on Sunday. So that is your rule. Thorpe's rule number 1, don't fucking foul. But David, how do you play these? And not just the apex player to win guys. Embiid. How do you guard them without fouling? Because to me, you have to let your hands get somewhere to give you some position, right? To get in front, to gain some kind of advantage. I mean, you can't play with your arms behind your back, right? Like, how do you not?
Actually?
Yeah, you can.
Did you see the clip I sent you?
I did.
What did Wendell Carter Jr. do?
Yes, pulled his hand away.
He put his hands behind his back.
Yeah.
I really think that was a teaching point by Jamal. It was like, hey, don't get the foul here. Just put your hands behind your back when you're guarding Donovan. I've had players say to me, I'm just going to put my hands behind my back. And I know they're getting it from a coach. That wasn't me. So I could do an hour show on this.
I know you
can. We're getting into
this is what
we're
you
getting
do.
into the scope of what I do, right? And so there's lots to it. But to be the abbreviated version, the true version, you can't reach in and get over their arm. They'll just come up, right? You can't get – so here's wide, long arms for those of you that are watching. I'm listening. I'm long-armed. I can't get narrow with my arms and grab them. They call a foul every time on that. I can't put a knee in their ass to move them out of the paint. That's called automatic. They're calling that foul every time. I really have to be careful to stay within the construct of my plane, both vertically, not going forward, not chopped down. And if you do that, and when I chase from behind, I got to make sure I take an angle. If they stop short, I don't run into them. That's what Nembhard's done a few times now with Lillard. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Hard to do. But I just watched Jalen Suggs execute a perfect one. He's trailing behind Donovan off an inbounds play, baseline inbounds play, and Donovan's curling around Jarrod Allen for 3. Suggs is chasing with speed. He's fast. He's really fast. And just as Mitchell stops to shoot, Suggs stopped also on a dime and didn't run into him. Pretty amazing play. It's hard to do that. So if you're not sure, and Damian Lillard's better than Donovan, there's a feel to this. There's a rhythm, a flow.
Yep.
Damian stops a beat before you expect him to stop, just so you run into him. Whereas, and Harden does that too some. Whereas Donovan didn't do that. He was trying to make the shot so he get his footwork right. The other guys don't always do that. They just want to get fouled. It's hard. You have to be super disciplined. Can't put your hand in the cookie jar. Can't make a play on the ball unless you know you can get it. You got to pick your spots.
Yeah.
You got to pick your spots. You can't grab. It's very hard to do. You have to live with the result. But I always tell them, live with the result that you made a tough shot. You made him take a tough shot.
I can't. How many times in this playoffs, I'm like, I see let's say Embiid's coming down. He's got the ball here. I'm like, don't reach in. He's going to pull it up. Like, just don't.
Yeah.
And there was a play, though, and we'll get to this series in a minute, where OG did, but he pulled his hand out in time before Joel brought his arm up to like this. And I'm like, dude, that's like flirting with disaster. What if you didn't pull your hand out in time?
But that's the strategy. So Corey Brewer taught me long ago. He was a young player, maybe third or fourth year, that he liked to play that little cat and mouse game. And this is before they made the rule change where you can't do a different sweep. It could be any sweep you want as you're sweeping up to shoot. If you bring the ball up and their hand hits your arm, it's a foul. It's not how it is now. Normally, it's got to be, if you want to shoot anyway, it's got to be in the scope of your shot. So Corey liked to do that. He would play cat, and he's got crazy quick hands, and he's long. So he'd be in, he'd be out, he'd be cat and mouse in it. And I don't know who it was, but he got his hand caught in the cookie jar, and he had the most adorable, cute face, like, "Oh, you got me," like son of a bitch,
like a Cheshire cat grin, like ah.
Yeah. But I once asked him, "Who's the hardest guy for you to guard?" He said, "I'm not telling you this to blow smoke for you. It's Kevin Martin, because Kevin had what Damian has. He just has that feel of being unorthodox, shooting off an odd rhythm.
Right.
And so you end up fouling because you're expecting the even rhythm. And so these guys, Damian's a master, just a master. So is Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
They can play off beat. You're expecting a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and it's just 1.
Yep.
1, 1, 1, 2.
Yeah.
And you get caught, you're out of rhythm, and you foul them.
No doubt.
These guys are expert at it.
So good. All right, back to this Clippers game. Wow, David. I don't know who impressed me most in that game. James Harden's second box float clinic / second box jumper. Paul George's ridiculous first half, and that shot he hit late in the fourth. I'm like, dude, he was falling out of bounds. I'm like, again,
behind the backboard.
Could have played better defense. Okay, made the shot anyway. Fuck, what are you gonna do?
That was the most impressive shot of the day.
I think so.
Kyrie scored. I don't remember if it was late first or second quarter, but it wasn't early. His first basket of the game. I remember them saying Kyrie's first basket of the game, because I missed the first few minutes. I was like, we're walking a little bit or something. And then the next time I pay attention, he's got like 30.
Yeah, he was on one last night for sure.
It's a joke, man.
And that finish he did under the rim with literally all 7-footers around them with arms everywhere. I'm like, how the fuck did you get that shot in the rim?
Yeah,
There's
there were
everywhere.
7-footers, but there weren't 7-footers. There were 6 bad guys' arms in the way, and he kind of just controls, and he's just really super smooth. He's really a tremendous player. But meanwhile, Clippers got a great win.
A huge win.
Had they never played Kawhi at all, I think they could be up 3-1. Probably not 4-0.
They could be.
And I don't know what happens in game 5. I'd sit them out, but I have no idea.
I mean, David, what a series. Wow. And I got to say, again, kudos to the Mavs for not hanging their heads down 31, right? And like one possession, next possession, next possession. They stayed with it. And the crowd actually also, I thought, stayed.
We're great.
You down 31, you could be, we're done. That crowd, every time they made a basket, I was like, ooh.
Those are the most fun games for fans, I think. I really do.
So.
I think the most fun is when you're down big and like, hey, wait a second, we're reeling them in. And that's what I've done when I do get to be a fan very rarely and I want to talk a little shit, I'll be like, we're really doing it? Pisses everyone off. That's when they reeled the Clippers in and the Clippers threw them back to sea.
Luka was, the numbers said he was good last night. I think he was not his best game, but he was okay. I thought he was kind of trying to take over a little bit too much, and Kyrie was the one who really had it going. And he actually said after the game, I'm not helping Kyrie out right now. I got to be better. And I think that's that idea of knowing, like, this dude's rolling, because Luka's a threat off ball, so let Kyrie cook with the ball, right? And you can cut, move, and you're a post-up nightmare, 6'8" and however much he weighs. Good luck trying to guard him in the post. You got a double probably. So, this is a fun. We said this. We said 7 this series. So, and we're headed that way right now, 2-2. Okay, so much fun basketball. Knicks, Sixers on the brink. David, 3-1. Before we get into the basketball, did you hear Joel after the game? He was so mad. So I don't know if you just listen, put the sound down. And to be fair, Manhattan's only 90 minutes by Amtrak away from Philadelphia. David, that arena don't sound like a 100% Philly crowd. It's very Knicks heavy. I was like, damn, this is great. And Joel was like, this Philly's supposed to be a sports town. He's like, I don't want to call out our fans, but it shouldn't be like there should be no Knicks fans in there. I'm like, Joel, sorry, buddy. Like, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Wow. Let's talk about a gritty game. Jalen Brunson, that was his best shooting game of the series. He had been inefficient in the first few. God, David, and I'm sure you do this already. His footwork should be studied by all people, young kids learning to play basketball, right? Because he can barely jump over a dollar bill. He's not right. He ain't 6 foot, whatever. Doesn't matter. His skill level and his footwork and his ability to separate and get away from 6'8" dudes, it is a thing of beauty. And I'm like, that doesn't happen overnight. That is drilled, and worked and coached. He is just so fun to watch, David. I love watching Brunson.
Just what a will. What a will to win. Joe Frazier, just keep coming. Not afraid to take tough shots. I shouldn't be either because he's so good at it. Yeah, he's a force of nature, man. He's a force of nature. I'm really impressed with him.
To dominate at his, again, this is why we get so excited when small guys dominate, because this is a land of giant men. The rim is 10 feet above the ground. For a little man to dominate this game, it is incredible.
And he's not the athlete Edwards is.
No.
Not even close.
Not even close. And it's his will to win, and the team follows him. I'm not a Knicks fan, but David, this team is just fun to watch because they believe and they're galvanized. The way Ant does it in a different way, he galvanizes guys. Brunson galvanizes this Knicks squad. Now, Tibbs, while he has many virtues, one of the ones it doesn't have is his intransigence, right? Like, my guy, can you be slightly flexible just a little bit? And it's not even about minutes. Joel Embiid does not cross half court, I don't know, at least on 50% of his possessions. Because you'll watch, and I'm like, he's not in the frame. Can you just run at this dude and make him move around? Force Nick Nurse to take him out of the game. Although that might hurt you. I don't know. Maybe that's his strategy. Keep Joel on the floor because we're actually better. Although the numbers don't say that. I don't know. That's what I would do personally.
Bottom line is New York plays a certain style. They're tough to beat with that style. Philly's not that successful, really. Series is what?
3-1.
90%? Yeah. 92% Knicks. Like, Philly's got a chance, but
they got a chance.
It's going to be very tough.
Yeah. I can't see this Knicks team losing 3 straight games to this Philly team.
Right.
Unless Tobias Harris all of a sudden, becomes...
Well, that's not happening. Yeah. That's not happening. I just don't see it happening more than one time. Yeah. It's Tyrese and Joel versus the Knicks.
Yeah. And 5 beats too. I got to say, Josh Hart, we always talk about winning plays. So Josh Hart missed every single shot he took last night and had 5 turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. But he had 17 rebounds and 4 blocks. I'm like, guys.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
This is how you impact the game positively and win possessions.
It's how you make $20 million a year when you're not really a good shooter.
Correct. the offensive rebounds does do what? Extend possessions for you. Gives you another shot at the basket.
Yep.
Defensive rebounds do what? End their possession without a basket. Like, it's not rocket science, people. Like, it really isn't. And
it's really hard.
He's 6'4". So for him to have, he had more rebounds than Embiid. He fights for the ball. When he goes up there, it's not like, oh, let me put, no. That's mine, and I'm going to fight you for it. And I'm like, damn, dude. At that size, again, 6'4", impressive.
Yeah, I always say when I was coaching younger kids, the guys that go in with two hands and their head, those are the keepers. The guys that kind of do this, they're dead. The guys that go two hands but not their head,
right,
they'll be okay. The guys that go head first, two hands, I'm going to get it, they're the keepers. Yeah. They're going to win more possessions than anybody. Yeah.
And he's so valuable. And again, so when fans are looking at, oh, why do we have, because again, he was someone Knicks fans were like, Josh Hart, but I'm like, guys, it ain't just about scoring buckets. Like, yes, very important. Very important.
Someone's got to pass, someone's got to defend, someone's got to rebound, someone's got to bring energy. Yeah, lots of ways to do it.
Those guys are great. And so, yeah, I mean, going home, I'll tell you what, you won't be hearing Philly fans at MSG for Game 5. I'll tell you that right now.
No, it's going to be a raucous scene. Is that tomorrow night?
I think that's tomorrow night, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game. Kudos to them. All right, in the series that David said on our call this morning, this might be the worst series in the first round, the Cavaliers and the Magic. And then I said, David, give the Magic credit. They put the vice grip on the Cavaliers. I think I saw a stat. They outscored them in the second half of that game like 51-12 and something ridiculous.
Jeez.
It was the Cavs had nothing. Literally nothing was a vice grip. Jonathan Isaac was I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I said it on our call. This defense that the Magic play, I mean, that's an NBA championship level defense. That's how good they are defensively.
Yeah.
Their offense is just putrid. And although last night or yesterday, Wagner hitting threes. They were lighting it up last night.
He was great. He was really good. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
He's a very good player. Powell's playing the right way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Powell's playing the right way. Jamal's a terrific coach.
Yep.
I don't know who's going to win the series. I still favor Cleveland. But the way they're defending Donovan Mitchell is super impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Length, athleticism, effort. Suggs really defends. Cleveland's got the work. Because I don't know that Cleveland can beat them in Orlando. Their offense isn't good enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Isn't good enough. You got to get going on offense.
Their defense is definitely not good enough. I agree with you. And it's look. I said this was going long anyway, regardless. Which obviously it's going at least 6. So no, I'm very impressed. And again, like Indiana. First of all, nobody had Orlando going to the postseason this year. Not a soul. So this is all great for them. Learning experience, reference points, fantastic. Next year they get just a competent, offensive-minded person on that team.
Yeah.
And light years, you'll see how much better they are.
No joke.
Celtics, they bounced back after that Heat loss and really put it on them in that game. I thought they came out with about the disposition to dominate. I thought they came out like we're serious. You know, sometimes the Celtics always get accused of playing with their food and not being. They didn't look like that in this game. They were okay. Miami punched in the mouth. Wake up. Okay, this is serious. And they look great in that. The ball was moving, humming around. They played really good defense. And like we thought, the Heat sustaining that kind of shooting, not likely, and they did not in that game.
No, they couldn't score. Boston couldn't score either for a while. It was a rock fight in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the best thing for Boston is to play a team as prepared as Miami, as tough as Miami, as experienced as Miami, and survive it. That'd be good for Boston.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. And I think, look, no matter, let's just say it's Orlando that comes out of that series. That'll be, Boston will win, but I think a team that will guard the shit out of them. And that's another, right, on the way to the championship. Another good, Miami is really good.
Yeah.
These guys play, no cakewalks for you on the way to the championship.
No, athletic, super athletic too. Yeah, it'd be a good test for him.
I like it. I'm very, very happy with what I'm seeing there. All right, we talked about the OKC Thunder, Dave, and we were wondering, all right, everything's great. You're at home. Woo, life's good. Puppy dogs and ice cream. Let's see how you do on the road with your first big test. Passed. Flying colors. Nope.
No, Pelicans are in the tank.
To be fair, yes, they don't have Zion, so it's, but
Brand is not in rhythm. No Zion at all.
But
they've been very disappointing.
But a playoff win is a playoff win.
Oh, for sure. I'm not upset with OKC. New Orleans, I expected much more. No, a win is a win. It doesn't matter who plays. You got to get through it, and they're killing people. Giddey's scoring. That's a big factor.
21.
Something we were concerned about. He's really playing well. Very well.
I like them. And let's look ahead a little bit, David. If it is, in fact, OKC, which we think it will be, Dallas or Clippers, right now, would you favor OKC?
Don't do it.
Come on. In either series, against either. Would you favor them against either team, against Dallas or the Clippers?
Certainly possible.
That is the most on the fence.
I don't know, but it's absolutely within reason. The way they're playing collectively, and they're gonna have they're so athletic, so deep, and so rested. Man, it's a big deal.
So here's what I think, David. So we talked about the Suns, right? And I was like, oh, the Wolves are just bigger, faster, athletic. So
yeah,
the Clippers are in a way kind of like that, although they're a little bit more athletic than the Suns are. I think that a little that kind of athleticism and running up and down from OKC problems for the Clippers. I think Dallas is athletic too because they got the young, Gafford, and although he didn't really play that well yesterday.
No,
he's got to be coming back to earth a little bit.
Yeah,
PJ Washington, but they're younger and can certainly fly up and down the floor at a much higher clip than the Clippers can. So listen, if OKC got to the conference finals, it wouldn't be surprising. I saw someone say over the weekend, gee, what a surprise. OKC, Denver, and Minnesota are handily won or winning their series. Well, they were the three best teams in the Western Conference all year. Why are we acting like, oh? And in that way, David, right, the regular season has merit, right? Over 82 games, these three teams were clearly better.
That's the goal. Yeah. Yeah. But now we'll see the matchups, postseason's everything.
Yes.
Who you're playing against matters.
For sure. All right, we have to end here, of course. The Lakers avoided the sweep. Yay, Lakers fans, you got one more game to go. But although Jamal Murray is questionable with a calf strain, so that is concerning. Lucky for them, they have a margin of a 3-1 lead. If it was 2-2, shit, you might be sweating a little bit. I still think, though, that the Nuggets at home should be able to take care of this. Because the Lakers,
but should be able to and will. Two different things.
I agree.
I know you're not saying that they can't lose. They can. They can. Lakers have a plethora of talent. Lots of guys that can score 25 plus at the same game.
Mm-hmm.
Denver without Murray is a huge loss for them.
Huge,
and it could be the best game so far. I'm gonna tune in and watch.
If it gets, oh man, can you imagine if it goes back to LA for Game 6?
Oh
Lord have mercy! Jeez. Defending champs on the ropes in round 1. I'm looking ahead. I would love to see a Denver-Minnesota matchup for the next round because I think that would be so exciting. Young Ant-Man going at those guys, all that. Jaden McDaniels being draped all over everybody. Rudy and Cat against you. Listen, the Wolves, David, we were worried about their offense all year, like them being casual, turning the ball. Like they've flipped the switch. Now, of course, Phoenix helped them with that. But still, you still have to execute and do it. They did it. And Denver in this series against the Lakers, they've come out to bad starts every game. The Lakers have had a lead in every single game by double digits. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you. I'm not saying it either.
You're not saying anything. See, folks, I'm trying to get David to make predictions, and he doesn't like to do that. Like, no, I gotta wait to see who they're gonna play first.
I mean, listen, I think the Lakers can beat Denver, and I think that then they go back home. Like, they're super talented. And they got LeBron to figure stuff out. It's like he's a cheat code too.
That's true.
Jamal Murray is super, super important.
He
OKC has a ton of young guys. That matters. Like all these things are factored in. The those opponents that haven't played before, like Clippers on the Clippers, everyone on the Thunder team hasn't. This has all been fun. Pacers having fun. Just wait. Like it ain't fun, and this is what some of these guys have been able to produce in tough situations.
Yeah.
And we'll see how these young guys do.
Pacers, if you haven't gotten the message yet, put away the funny goggle eyes and all the funny shit you're doing. David doesn't like it. You're gonna get your ass kicked in the next round if you even make the next round. So
right. Save your celebration for after the series or in the moment for like 8 seconds and it's over. That's my recommendation. So 2 things. Don't fucking foul. Don't fucking celebrate more than 8 seconds.
Listen, Thorpe's got wisdom, guys. He's got rules to live by. And, I'm not going to say who they are, but the players that David's helping and coaching these playoffs playing better than everybody else so far. So David knows what he's talking about, and he's got some wisdom to share with you guys. All right, folks, enjoy the playoffs. We will see you on Thursday. Take care.